The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights on Thursday condemned the string of police killings of unarmed African Americans and called for U.S. officers who use excessive force to be charged and convicted for their crimes. Citizens shouldn't be afraid of their governments, governments should be afraid of their citizens. And create a registry for police officers that have one too many crimes to not be rehired anywhere else in the U.S. as police officers or any position that involves carrying a badge and a gun. If you're the ones that are out there spreading the rhetoric that police officers are the enemy, just know we've all got your number now. We're going to be keeping track of all of y'all, and we're going to make sure that we hold you accountable every time you stir the pot on our police officers. We've had enough, folks. Joe Gamaldi, president of Houston's police union. Serve and protect indeed. I think the bigger issue that the people in charge need to figure out is how to get armed police out of enforcing nonviolent offenses. George Floyd was suspected of using counterfeit checks. Eric Garner was selling individual cigarettes. Those encounters should have ended with citations, not death. Shit's been happening forever. Rodney King was 91. The NWA toured around the world, rapping about police killing black people. Nothing has changed. Once a year at least, a story makes national headlines. This shit will never end as long as people with the worst intentions pursue jobs that give them any ounce of physical authority. Maybe it is time for America to address the need for better training for their police. Overcompensation for their lack of negotiation skills with military-grade equipment is probably why this shit keeps happening. For all the people engaging in whataboutism. Bachelet has also called out China over the human rights situation in Xinjiang, https://www. Reuters.com/article/us unrights China IDUSKCN1LR0L0. She called out her home country Chile, https://www. Al Jazeera. com/news/2019/12/ Chile police committed human rights abuses report 1912131604432993. HTML, over human rights abuses. She called out Saudi Arabia, https://learning English. Vonews. com/a/new unrights chief takes on China other powers in first speech/4565652. HTML, over human rights abuses. She called for a probe into violence against protesters in Hong Kong, https://www. Reuters. com/article/us Hong Kong protests on IDUSKCN1WK07G. Now that is out of the way, can we talk about the topic at hand, please? Well, it's about damn time. Before the US pulls out of the UN. There was once this idea that police were brave because they put themselves at risk of dying, but now they're so afraid of death that they use excessive force and premature shooting to prevent themselves from ever even being at risk. At the cost of innocent lives. It's okay, the police investigated themselves and they're okay. Yet it would be nice if the people who are supposed to uphold our laws weren't immune from them. Absolutely blows my mind that you have to call for someone to even be charged. This absolute dog shit of a person killed someone unlawfully and should be in jail regardless, no questions, no ands, if or buts, just disgusting. They should be charged worse for their crimes than normal citizens. Not given paid vacation. Citizen oversight boards for all police departments and bar police unions from having any input or right to sue when it comes to cops fired for misconduct. The power of police unions to protect bad cops must be destroyed. I've never seen this many pissed off Americans here. So you're telling me racist murderers should face consequences now? They aren't even going to get paid leave and a new job. That High Commissioner is Chilean ex-President Michelle Bachelet, a woman I've learned to respect a bit more every time I read news like this. Her management of the 2010 earthquake in Chile was terrible, so I kinda hated her for that. But her job in the UN has been quite decent. IMO also has a pretty interesting background, you guys should check it out. Nothing will change until the US starts dismantling police unions. Allowing critical public employees to unionize and be able to collectively bargain against public interest was a huge mistake, and the US has never stopped paying for it. To make US police accountable for their behavior, you'd have to remove the sense of impunity provided by their unions so that they start caring about consequences. Us gov ain't gonna do shit cause they want cheap, expendable, and obedient domestic troops. Make racism wrong again. Does anyone know if this is an instance where writing a senator would be helpful? Is there anything the average person can do? And all the cops that just stood by and let it happen should be charged as an accessory. This is shameful and embarrassing, but exactly what needs to happen. The U.S. is shielding extrajudicial killings with a discussion on legitimate use of force. I can assure you we don't engage in the same discussion when developing nations have the same problems. We label them as undemocratic and violent. People get outraged for 30 seconds and then move on to the next thing. Nothing ever changes in this country. Sounds like the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights watched the video of George Floyd being slowly, publicly executed by a sadistic pig. We live in a world where perhaps murderers should be punished for their crimes is a radical thing to say. Fuck cops. Trump threatens to defund the UN in 3. Not just charged and convicted but have their pensions taken away and given to the victims' families. I feel for all the good cops who have to patrol shitty areas who now have a world of pressure on them because shitty cops are doing terrible things. But hopefully this will put more pressure on them to follow the books. But I have to imagine there are going to be instances where cops fail to follow procedure because they are too scared to and end up getting shot or letting a criminal loose. I understand the protests, but man, I would not want to be a cop on the south side of Chicago right now. I have a feeling all of this commotion may end up leading to even more violence, as cops won't want to do their jobs in fear of making the wrong decision in a moment of pure fear. Having lived in a dangerous hood, I really feel for the good cops out there right now. Their jobs are getting so much more difficult, but for good reason. I think this should be a good time to evaluate why there is so much violence in the US to begin with. It's not because of guns. It's because far too many people are given no chance at succeeding. If the poor keep getting poorer, the issue will grow. Cops aren't the only issue. Poverty and general inequality often create environments where cops are in fear of doing their jobs on a regular basis. The south side of Chicago was once an industrial hotbed. The blacks in the area had jobs and a chance at success. Then manufacturing was abandoned and outsourced, and the people were left to rot. With the evacuation of China, maybe we can bring these jobs back and allow people in shitty hoods a chance at a livable life. And then we'll see crime fall. I'm not at all defending the actions of what happened in Minnesota. But not every instance of police violence goes this way. And every day, millions of cops make the right decisions. But ultimately, when they clearly make a poor decision, they should be tried for what they have done. It's embarrassing to be called out on an international stage like this. Anyone who still thinks America is the greatest country in the world is a fool. I'm an American, born and bred. Why the hell wouldn't they? They're just as much human as the rest of us, thus just as much accountable for their actions. Removed. 2020 is the year we need UN peacekeepers to come restore democracy in the United States. Disgusting how American nationalists here try to make this thread about China. You are part of the problem. Hashtag Free America Revolution 04 time. The way Americans talk about China and some other places is kind of how the rest of the world talks about them. But where you're from is always your normal, and it sometimes takes a step back to see what's always been around you but is ridiculous.